Hello and welcome to Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm so glad that you're here. Okay. I feel resistant to being honest and transparent, and because of that, I feel like I need to be, and I'm going to be. Wow, being uncomfortable is uncomfortable. Pretty much. Today has been a very pleasant day with family. I shared a wonderful family dinner. We had people come over, lots of delicious food. And the thing that I'm a little bit hesitant or embarrassed to talk about is that I may or may not have had a couple glasses of sangria and I'm not exactly sober. Now let's unpack that. Let's dive right into why that makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, that's where we're going today. All right. So I guess it starts off with almost an image thing, like a branding thing, meaning I'm so hyper focused right now with who I am and the image that I put out there into the world that I don't want to seem like I slip up in many ways or I do things, but then I talk about my beliefs that are kind of hypocritical because I know that while I may not talk about it all the time here, I do have a lot of opinions when it comes to drinking, substances, all that stuff. And I don't think they're good or bad, it's just more so a matter of perspective. I will never tell someone what to do or not to do. I can only share what I think and what I feel. 99% of the time, I don't like drinking. I don't like going out and partying. It's usually not my scene. But especially now, I'd be lying if I said that every once in a while I didn't partake in it. Right now, I still have a half glass of it right here. And I'm not really drinking it. I'm not really doing much with it now, especially because I'm recording. And when I record, I have this idea, this sense of professionalism that I want to put out there. When the get together was starting and the sangria came out, I feel like it's also important to note that this is my aunt's homemade sangria. It is absolutely delicious. It's like juice, which is probably why I find it so delicious. And so I only ever really have it when she makes it and brings it. And so as soon as they got here and I saw it, I made this split-second decision that I said, I'm home. I trust everybody that's here, because that's another thing I'll talk about later. I feel safe. I'm just going to have a glass. And I tasted it. Remember just how delicious it was. Was about halfway through it before I realized that I haven't recorded today yet. And then I went through a bunch of thoughts in my head of let me run upstairs, quickly record before I were to get any more drunk, any more intoxicated. And I did come upstairs. I got the entire setup made. I put on the camera, and for one reason or another, which I can't quite remember now what it was, I decided not to record then, and I said, I'll be fine, I'll record later. So I went back downstairs and I had a bunch of food, more drinks, to the point that I definitely pushed myself past a limit for sure and took a hefty nap before recording this episode. So that'll be fun with my sleep schedule later. But if we're going to be honest, I haven't been going to bed before 5 a.m. for like the past week. So there's that. And I really started getting nervous about what I'm going to do for this recording, what I was going to do for this podcast, because it's already too late. I'm already too far gone. I can sober up, but I don't think to the point where I'll be 100% sober by the end of the day or by the time I go to bed. And so I still need to record and put something out there. And then that did get me thinking about just authenticity, about who I am, about the fact that it's not about what I think or what I believe. It's sometimes just about what I've done. Like, what are my actions? If you want to know what someone's true intentions are, don't listen to what they say, look at what they do. So I could swear up and down that I don't drink, and then you look at something like this, something like today, and you say, but Philip, you do, you have. And I guess there's this part of me that really questioned, what does this say about me? I think that's where a lot of us kind of get hung up on our actions, when it's not about a specific action that bothers us, it's the meaning that we give to it. I've had conversations with my family about my sleep schedule. And it's come to my realization that it's not so much the sleep schedule that may bother them, but what it means to them. Because if I were to work a job that starts at, say, 8 p.m. and goes until 5 a.m., well, then no one would have a problem with me going to sleep at 6 a.m. every day. But without that job, going to sleep at 6 a.m., well, that catches more people's attention. And it became clear to me when I thought about it in this way, from this perspective, that, oh, it's not the idea of going to sleep at 6 a.m. that bothers people. It's more so the details and what that means to them. What does it mean that I go to sleep that late? Because the way I feel about it is that as long as you're getting the 8 hours of sleep-ish that you need, why does it matter so much at what hours those are? And of course, that question could be answered by sleep specialists, sleep doctors, sleep scientists. I'm none of those. And so I can't really answer that question. And I also know that 99.9% of the people in my life also can't answer that question, not from a place of really knowing or testing. Maybe it's from reading research. Totally fair. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird tangent to go off on right now. But it's all to say that it's more about what's the meaning we give to it. What does it mean to me that I drank before recording and now I'm going online and putting a version of myself out there that's not sober, not completely controlled, maybe. Control. That's another thing for me. Control is such a funny thing in that we all want it. We all want some idea, some sense of control. And 95% of things out there we can't control. Yet the things we can control, most people don't. They choose not to. I've talked about it here before that controlling one's emotions, controlling one's thoughts and one's actions, that's something we can do. Most people do it subconsciously and they try to control everything else. They try to control the other people in their lives. They try to control their schedules. They try to hyper optimize everything, workouts, food, sleep, everything. And I acknowledge that there is that need and that desire in me for control. Or maybe a better word is certainty. It's not that I need to be in control of everything. It's that I want to be certain that certain things will happen. I'll feel a certain way. So I usually have a problem with drinking for myself with a lack of control. And that I know I have a base level of control. I know that my foundation's pretty strong. Even now, throughout this day, I found myself still having that dialogue, questioning myself, asking different questions, getting different answers, not really just living subconsciously, but being conscious and deliberate and intentional about what I was saying and doing. And I also know that in this state, my inhibition goes down wildly. It's alcohol. We all know what it does. And because I haven't drank in many, many, many months now, I can't actually remember the last time I drank. So it was probably last year or at the beginning of this year. My tolerance is really low and it hits me hard, really fast. And I know that if I was in an environment where I don't feel safe and I don't feel like I have some ability to control my surroundings, I get really anxious, at least with the first drink. And then almost to ease the nerves, I drink more and more. I usually don't like to drink because of a fear, actually. I don't like to drink out of a fear that I can go off the deep end, so to say. I know that I can have addictive tendencies. I've showed them before, whether they're with video games. Oh, this is going to get real vulnerable. With masturbation or pornography. I do have a history of that. Food is one of my favorite addictions. I just know that I have that gear inside of me. I know that there is this ability to overindulge in one specific thing. And the fear comes with not wanting alcohol or other substances to be that thing that I overindulge in. Wow. My brain just full stopped. This is a segue. With my brain stopping, I have this meaning, this dialogue that I say to myself in situations where I get cut off in the middle of me saying something. This could be a natural interruption, like something happens in the world, or more so someone says something over me and interrupts me, or moments like this where I forget what I was talking about and what I was saying. And I've started telling myself that I got cut off to take a minute to think about what I'm about to say. Sometimes I keep going and I say it anyways. And sometimes I realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that right now. And I say this because maybe whatever I was talking about just moments ago, and I was going down some path, maybe that path was not the thing I was meant to talk about. And I may never know because I've already forgotten. But I also believe that if it's something that's really important, I'll remember it later. It'll come back to me. I never worry about losing ideas for the same reason. If an idea is important enough and impactful enough, it'll come back to me if there's absolutely no other way that I can write it down or take action on it. And so whatever I was going to say, if it's that important, I'll remember and I'll be able to say it. And here I am now. I have recorded most of this. I don't believe I've made a fool out of myself. And I think I've only been more transparent, more real and authentic to who I am. Because I also need to stop comparing myself to some of these other podcast shows that I see out on the internet, out on YouTube and Spotify. I'm not those shows right now. I may find it cool to be those shows later, especially if I'm interviewing people. There will be a sense of professionalism that I want to put on. But I also know that this podcast, or at least this series, really is just a look into my life and who I am. Right now, it's really about how I think and how I feel. It's like a personal diary that you get to be a part of, you get to see. I even thought about taking this out into the world and recording my life out there. That's still a possibility. I've played around with recording videos while in my car. There's so many options. The point is, I'm proud of myself for being nervous about something and doing it anyways, putting it out there. I could be one type of person and act like I don't drink ever. Or maybe I'm just a little bit more relatable by saying, oh no, every once in a while I do drink, and showing that. Maybe someone can look at me and say, I could relate to the person that drinks once a month, twice a year, maybe, versus the person that never drinks, never smokes, never does anything. Well, I'm actually a little bit of both. Fun fact, I have never done drugs because of that fear I mentioned before. The only thing I've ever done was drink a little, and even that is, I could count the number of times I've gotten like drunk on my hands. I think just recently I had to use the second hand. So I feel like that says something, especially being 23 years old with today's youthful culture, I guess I'll call it. Why do I sound so old saying that? What? Dude. Real time disappointing myself. That's crazy. But also, that's who I am. That's like honestly how I feel. Unironically, I'll say to myself, I'm not like the other boys. Yeah. Yep. I think I may have to cut it off here. I'm gonna head off, get this posted, but then maybe watch a movie, take it easy. I was thinking about watching White Chicks. I'm in that mood. Give myself a good laugh. Because I think I mentioned yesterday, today has just been my day off. I haven't wanted to think about work once. I wrote down one little note about something I want to do on Monday because of a conversation I had today. But other than that, I had no intention of thinking about anything work related. And I'm here for it. I think this is partly the rest that I needed. I'll see how I feel tomorrow, but most likely tomorrow might be another rest day as well. A more relaxed podcast episode. I just gotta stop. All right, this is where I'm gonna end this. I've done my duty. A year from now, I will look at this video, very potentially face-palming, shaking my head, wondering why I put this out there. Honestly, you're gonna be glad I did. I don't know why yet, but you'll be glad that I'm practicing the authenticity, practicing the vulnerability, and most importantly, practicing embracing discomfort and being uncomfortable and doing it anyways. Saying the thing that sounds uncomfortable, sounding the thing that's awkward, and just being who you are. That one's directly for you, Philip. I love you. I'm doing this for you. As for the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. It's always a pleasure to know that at least someone out there may be getting a smile on their face from this. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, one with lots of laughs and lots of recovery as well. Remember to always fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.